Peri misin, cin misin, ben geleceğim evde misin? Komşuların görmeden perdeleri çeker misin? Her yanın sallanarak, dudağın ballanarak, üstüme mi çözemez pay doyarak? Her yanın sallanarak, dudağın ballanarak, düğmelerimi çözemem. Gerisini sen bana bırak. Beyazlı
Transit fans and New York City Transit employees, and welcome to the review of the 1998 to 2000 New Fly C40LFs, and which were the very first low-floor buses in history of New York City Transit. And their fleet numbers ranges from 800 to 989. 800 to 801 are 1998 models. 802 to 856 were 1999 models. And also 857 to 989 were 2000 models. Now moving on to the depot procurements, is that first, all of these units were first delivered to Jackie Gleason Depot in Brooklyn to help displace the mainly TMC diesel-powered RTSs they used to have running. And then in their original times of their orders, there were also 2 units that were sent to Massachusetts to test with the MBTA to jumpstart their 2001 C40LF order. Now moving on to the powertrain is that these buses, they had signified the use of the Series 50G engine along with the Allison B400R Worldtech Generation 3 transmission. And together, they sound like this. Based off this powertrain, they make my most favorite sound effect, which is mechanical, that every single one of us bus fanners employees love. The backfire flutterage. Now it's story time. It was my very first time seeing these buses in action on the B35 in 2007, as the year I immigrated from overseas. It was my first time seeing these along with the Orion V CNGs from 1994 to 1996 and the Orion VII CNGs, in which I looked at them as CNG boxes. With C40LFs, one thing I was obsessed about was their slopes design in the rear, and it was one of the things of how it immediately goes up near the top of my list after the RTSs and the Orion VII Gen hybrids I first saw on the B17. In 2008, I finally rode my first C40LF, and it was around late winter when my parents and I were on our way to the laundromat on East 54th and Church Avenue. This was also back when I used to live in Canarsie for 2 years. Then by the spring of 2009, we then moved here in East Flatbush, and I was keeping up with my rides of those original C40LFs at a steady high rate. Since we moved, we rode them more times, taking me to my second public school which is PS33, Langston Hughes. I went for only 1 year in kindergarten. Brookdale Hospital, and on our way to the B46 on Utica Avenue, the B&Q train station near Sunset Park, etc. This was all on the B35 route. Though I also rode them on the B8 as well, a little bit, and I also see them mostly on the B9 route at Kings Plaza. These C40LFs were my most favorite CNG buses of all at my younger childhood, and ever since I came into the USA, it always stuck in my head with their sound effects when they barely accelerate, and my most favorite sound effects was their backfire, as I mentioned earlier. This is why I always have an agreement with others that these C40LFs were the most iconic CNG buses for Brooklyn, especially after these were delivered to West Farms and Spring Creek since 2011 and 2012, and especially only one C40LF, which was 801, was the only C40LF to be sent to College Point Depot for CNG bus operators training, in which that they have to train the operators of how to operate the new generations of how to operate this old C40LFs to prepare for the new generation C40s, which are going to be the incoming orders of the 2011 to 2013 C40LFs. By the late summer of 2012, I have officially rode my last C40LFs, which is an unknown unit, and it was on a B8 when my father and I were on our way to his friend's house around the edges of East Flatbush, and this was a few days after I spent the whole summer in Montreal, Canada. Before that time, it also reminded me of the unit, which was 915, and it was a most popular unit to be the only unit served with LED displays. And there's another one which was 900 and also 941. They were having the white back schemes. And as of mid-2013, it was already known to be retired and scrapped because of the brand new deliveries of the 2011 to 2013 C40LFs. And one thing I have to analyze about these buses was that these buses, what disappoints me is that they don't have the decal schemes around their windows, which make them barely naked. But I'm very impressed that they get the blackback schemes for these buses in their generation. So to analyze is that the bus rate that is gonna be given to these buses is 9.3 out of 10. And so ending this is that these buses were gone and will always be remembered as the very first low-floor buses in history, and also the very first C40LFs ever ordered. But before I forget, A48 is preserved as a movie prop unit and is currently preserved at the Picture Cars East in Red Hood, Brooklyn. And also 942 and 978 are active at the K9 Training Center in upstate New York, which was Stormville, New York. So now, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep your memories of these older C40LFs.
FBI, DEA. Mes amis. Oh, FBI, DEA. Mes amis. Ça fait des hommes pas ouais. Paye-moi changer couleur. Ça fait des hommes qui t'aiment. Figili marqué misère. Nous plutôt fermer des jeunes. Faire semblant ça va changer. Nous plutôt fermer des jeunes. Dis petit pas nous pas tourner mes amis. Haïti moi. Oh. Dis qui sort pour le faire. Pour changer mentalité moun yo. Pays en danger. Pas de personne qui décide de vont bien. Oh yo yo, nous plutôt fermer des jeux. Faire ça va changer. Nous plutôt faire main des jeunes, des petites pas nous pas tourner les amis. Haïti ouais, oh. Sans c'est lié. Oh, mes amis, mes amis, mes amis. Oh, oh. Caribé. Zoporo, zopopotore. Zoporo, zopopotore. Zoporo, zopopotore. Zoporo, wa. Zoporo, pero, 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 Mekoba. Zoporo, pero, 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 po. Zoporo, pero, Bagayo, pero, po. Zoporo, pero, 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 po. Zoporo, zopopotore. Zoporo, zopopotore. Zoporo, zopopotore. Zopomba, comba, comba. Tout le monde sait bang bang, Lucky Luke. Bang bang, on doit suspendre jouer avec. Bang bang, Lucky bang bang, Lucky bang. Tout le monde sait bang bang, Lucky Luke. Cowboy Karimi, oh, dégainé. Yo dit Ticalo, mais pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Yo dit Richaka, mais pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Yo dit Michael King, pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Fanatique Karimi, pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Bang bang, bang bang, Lucky bang. Tout le monde sait bang bang, Lucky Luke. Mais pays m'bayon jouet suspend jouer avec. Bang bang, Lucky bang bang, Lucky bang. Tout le monde sait bang bang, Lucky Luke. Pays m'bayon jouet suspend jouer avec. Yo dit Richard, j'ai pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Yo dit Seren Kave pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Yo dit Medon Jackie pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Mais Stéphanie Poli pas même dans CIA. Sensible à la gâchette. Sensible à la gâchette. Aïe, bouyaka, Mekoba. Haïti. Bueno, 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 bueno. Hey, ouais. Gale gâchette, gale gâchette, gale gâchette. Ça qu'a passé. You prend pays, ouais, contrôler, ouais, ça gagne la caille. FBI, you prend pays, ouais, mais you contrôler, ouais, ça qu'a passé. DEA, you prend pays, ouais, mais you contrôler, ouais, ça gagne la caille. FBI, you prend pays, ouais, mais you contrôler, ouais. Richard, nous sous-côte, attendez. Carlo, cherchez couteau, cherchez ciseaux, nous sous-côte. Karimi, nous sous-côte, attendez. Bang bang, bang bang, bang. Tout le monde sait bang bang, Lucky Luke. Mais pays m'payon jouet suspend jouer avec. What's going on? Mais what's going on? Tout le monde sait bang bang, Lucky Luke. Mais pays m'payon jouet suspend jouer